Thanks for staying with us on Good Morning Nigeria. Now, as Nigeria strives for inclusive growth and sustainable development, the role of women in governance cannot be overstated. Yet, in spite of their contributions, women remain underrepresented in decision-making positions, and their voices often go unheard.
That's true, Victor. We are examining the state of gender-responsive governance in Nigeria. From the policies to the practices, we will also explore the successes, the challenges, and the opportunities for advancing gender equality in our nation's governance. And to discuss this issue with us, we have in the studio our guest already seated. Let me welcome Asmao Benziz Leo. She's the gender and development expert. Asmao, you're welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you. Good morning, viewer. It's my pleasure to be here.
And we've also been joined here in the studio by Dr. Rekia Momo Abaji, retired civil servant. It's a pleasure to welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Nigerians.
Okay, let me start with Asmao, who is a gender and development expert. Let's look at the current state of gender representation in Nigeria's governance structures and what efforts are being made to increase women's participation. Do you think enough efforts being made to increase women participation in governance in the country?
Thank you so much for this question. I really expected that to be asked. So I can say that not much has been done, truly, honestly, not much has been done. In fact, we see a decline, drastic decline in terms of women representation, especially in the parliament. 2011, it was higher. 2015, it came down. 2023, we saw how it became. Nigeria is one of the lowest in Africa and even one of the lowest in the world, with the statistics of just 3.62 representation of women. And remember, demographically, Nigerian women represent almost 50% of the population. That is almost close to 100 million in Nigeria, which is the size of a country or 2 or 3 countries merged together somewhere in the world. So we are not doing justice to Nigerian women. And if you look at capacity and the contribution of these women to governance, you will see that women are contributing a lot. But when it comes to us having the space to be in the boardroom, to be in decision making, that is where we are missing. So I think this is the time, there's no better time than now for Nigerians to begin to have this conversation, to discuss that we cannot continue to silence or rather, marginalize more than half or close to half of our population if we truly and sincerely want to be amongst the top 20 economies in the world.
So what do you think is responsible for the low representation?
It's basically patriarchy, cultural stereotypes, and equally the money politics that we find ourselves. Politics is expensive. And for the fact that you're a woman, they will not say they will give you power on a platter of gold. So women also have to be prepared economically to contest, because no man will want to give it to you just because you're a woman. We have to compete favorably and take our position as women and then compete with them and ultimately get that position. Parents are not also helping matters. From childhood, a girl is taught not to aspire to be a leader. They see leadership as an exclusive right of men, which is not true. Anybody can be a leader. Everybody is a born leader, depending on the trajectory on how you develop yourself to be a leader. So, and sometimes you will bear me witness, Nigerian men, that we have had exceptional women leaders in this country that globally they can compete with anybody. Women such as our present World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. We've had women presently Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Amina Mohammed, to mention so many women. Even myself and Dr. Rekia sitting here, we can just be in any position, I tell you the truth. Even as a president, have we had any better president than I? No. If you make me a president today, I think I will bring in some perspective that can move Nigeria forward.
But there lies the problem. Nobody held the president by the hand and said, come and be president. And let me ask Dr. Momo Abaji. You see, women, I don't think, have been held back in any particular way. And I say this because, for instance, there is a Ministry of Women Affairs. There is none for the men. There is a Ministry of Women Affairs and the agencies under it for women. When you have NUJ, the Nigerian Union of Journalists that we belong to, you have NAWAJ. Men didn't set it up for women. They set it up themselves. And there are instances on and on that we can give. And so I would rather ask, why are women not winning elections? Because I don't think there's any law that stops women from aspiring. And even when they aspire, most times, some parties give them free tickets. Some reduce the cost of it. This is support. Why are women not winning election? The numbers are there. Women have the numbers. I don't think it's because somebody says, no, you can't be. Dr. Small wants us to take a woman by the hand and say, we are going to sit down there. That's
No, I didn't say
I'm not
that.
sure.
If you remember, I didn't
I'm
say
not
that.
sure that's what we are going to do.
That's not really the idea, that you take them by the hand.
Exactly.
The idea is that there isn't a level playing ground. For instance, why you have women, why you have NAWAJ, why you have Ministry of Women Affairs, it's on the assumption that women already stand at a disadvantage. The men have been on the seat for too long, and they are so comfortable being there that they are not willing to make spaces for new entrants. That is the reason why efforts are being made in Nigeria and around the world to create a level playing ground, to create a situation where there will be no hurdles placed in the way of women. You know, the way we look at the role of women in Nigeria is Nigerian women are a resource that is untapped. And if anyone is suffering, the country is suffering. The people are suffering because you have left 50%, in most cases, sometimes over 50% of your population just lying there. It's like a man who wants to lift a heavy load, and you just tie one hand behind yourself and begin to use one hand to move the load. You will note that that is a very difficult situation to be in. So what we are saying is that the way politics is played in Nigeria, a lot of lip service is played to politics in Nigeria. For instance, even the fact of giving giving women free tickets becomes a disadvantage when they get onto the field. That's when you have, party juggernauts telling women, oh, after all, you didn't even pay anything for this ticket. Why don't you step down for this person? Women are the ones who are always asked to step down because the playing ground is not okay. It's not level for everyone.
The current Minister of Women Affairs was an aspirant. She was a presidential aspirant.
Yeah.
She didn't get that. She opted. Nobody pressured her to step down. Today she's Minister of Women Affairs. Can't we play at that level? Aim for it.
We can play at any level. The point we are making is that it doesn't even have to be at a situation where you will step down. You know, she stepped down for good reasons.
Willingly.
Willingly. She must have calculated the environment. Other people are stepping down. And she probably also would have looked at... The thing about politics is that you should also be in a position to assess where you are going to win. And if you are not going to win, you can bargain. You can bargain with people. Maybe what she did was bargaining for that position. And I expect that it's smart. And I expect that she will continue to move from there and aspire for other positions. But what we want to frown against is, look, we have Nigerian women who are competent. In the past, they used to say, oh, the education is their disadvantage. Many women are very, very highly educated as we speak in Nigeria. And we are thinking that the country, the people at the helm of affairs should engage these resources that we have so that we are using all our resources instead of piling up one half unused.
Would you say, let me just stay with you, would you say they are cultural, because of our cultural background has really contributed immensely to this, low representation of women in governance? How can we tackle this?
You see, we have been discussing this cultural background for a long time, and we are all quite aware of it. In fact, like my sister Asma said, women are also responsible for some of these things in the way we bring up our children. For instance, the boy knows that, you know, he must be part of a team. The girl is taught to remain in the kitchen, take care of the house and what have you. But time has come. There are women who have male children and have brought them up to fit into all the roles. That is a question of role playing, and anyone can play any role depending on how, you know, they are acculturized. As it is, women now know, all of us, we now know that by the way we bring up our girls and our boys, we put our girls at a disadvantage. And so women like Asma and I are consciously making amends to tell our girl children that they are part of the game. They can be part of the game. They are qualified. They are equipped to be part of the game. And that is where we should head, even in our policies.
Okay. All right. As well, what can be done?
Okay, go ahead.
What more can be done to ensure that women become, you know, better positioned, or at least, if not at par, but become better positioned? What can men in particular do?
Depending on the context you're looking at. But let me restrict myself to politics. Politically, we need political mentoring. Most women that venture into politics have no mentorship. Some of them just came in because a father or a godfather or somebody that has been within the political terrain held your hand and said, okay, I will sponsor you, just take a ticket, or I will buy the form for you, just go and contest. You don't win politics like this. Let us look at developed countries. The women that are in politics today or ruling the world, how do they emerge? They didn't emerge from the blues. They were trained, they were mentored, they have the capacity, they have everything it takes to be there. That is why we always have women being targeted when they get to, we have a lot of cases, I don't want to mention names, that eventually when you become either elected or appointed in positions, you are targeted as a woman because the capacity to even remain is one thing for you to emerge and is one thing to remain, maintain and be sustained in a political position. There are many dynamics. And these dynamics are, like Hajia Rekia said, for ages, women have been in this game, men have been in this game. So women, you are just coming into this space. There are certain things you need to look out for. And there are certain informations, capacity that you need to acquire. It's just like going to school. In primary school, what you will know, in secondary school, what you will know, is different from being a graduate. So this is how Nigerian women are evolving to be where we are. We've been silenced, we've been marginalized for a very long time. And now that we are where we are, Nigerian women don't want to take no for an answer. I tell you the truth. We want to be there. We just don't want to be seen. We want to also be heard. We want to make our input. We want to be there when decisions, especially decisions affecting our lives as women, decisions affecting the lives of our family, even decisions affecting the life of the nation. If we happen to be much in population, then we also need to contribute to the betterment of this country. And so we think we bring a better perspective in governance. Believe you me, a woman in the house advises a man better. And any man that doesn't listen to his wife, you know the outcome. So we will bring that kind of perspective, not just from the domestic sphere, but evolving to the public space, whereby the natural intuition for making things better, for organization, for having things done in a proper manner, I think there's no better position than that to be given to a woman.
When you say mentorship,
yeah,
what do you expect?
I expect that you learn the intrigues. You learn the political structures. You learn street credibility. You learn what it takes for you to aspire. You learn what it means to even...
But many are not willing to take these baby steps. They just want to be up there.
That's what I am saying. I'm talking about the women from the perspective of the women.
They have to learn.
You know, we have to learn. But learning does not mean you have to start from down to... You can still be in that position, but also learn the dynamics. But some of us are so, you know, I don't want to use the word careless. We are so at ease. The moment you get position, you think that is the ultimate, but not knowing that you are dining in a very slippery terrain. And if you are not careful, that is how the carpet will be pulled off your feet. And that's how we see women being dragged.
So I think one of the challenges that people have noted in the past is that women don't even support women when it comes to politics. I could remember there was one election that there is this woman that contested for presidential, Sarah Jubril. She did not even get one vote. The only vote she got was for herself.
But there were women.
There were women at the convention.
This is the usual narrative. I always hear.
But it's
one woman, one vote. We are tired of hearing this.
Happened?
After Sarah Jubril.
So what happened? Is it that the women, the literate women, don't really carry along the grassroots women because they are the one actually participating in politics? The grassroots, you don't go to the grassroots because that's what the men do. They go to the grassroots, they will galvanize the people at the grassroots, and before you know it, they will sweep the election. But you sit down in your offices.
I think that these are stories of the past, and you know sometimes they say when something is repeatedly said, it begins to look like what it is.
Okay, so
women have come a long way from that.
Okay,
you know, for instance, she was talking about learning the process. We have come from where women didn't even know what aspects of the process to learn. They now know. And the upcoming generation now know that we have women who are role models, who are doing well, and that women are able to do well. For instance, I was a caretaker chairman at Abuja local government during the Abdulsalam regime, and I happen to know that if you know your onions, nobody looks down on you. You know, the way that we teach our children, our girl child to cook, we don't teach them to participate in politics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have come to that stage where we know that these things have to be learned. And the women who have the audacity to go into politics now know that they need to learn some
Maybe the mothers that are teaching the girls to cook, they are not even into politics. They don't even understand politics. So
you see what I mean?
For them
to
teach.
So the numbers have
politics.
increased. The numbers have increased. Of awareness is being generated.
So would you say the role of let's look at the role of the civil society organization and advocacy groups. Are they really actually assisting, in creating this awareness?
Let me step in. Sorry, Hajia. Let me step into this. You asked a question that I wouldn't want us to just allow it slide. The aspect of women not supporting women. That narrative also has to change. Because if you create stories and it becomes a narrative that every time people use it against us women. One thing I know is that I am a woman and I support a woman. Unless that woman does not have credibility. If the woman has capacity, the woman has credibility, she had competence to be where she is, why shouldn't I vote for her? And that is the need. And remember, like we all mentioned here, culture. Culture plays a greater role in the emergence of every woman in political space. Your father, religious leaders will tell you in the tenet of our religion, in some religions, they will say a woman is not supposed to lead a man. A man cannot follow a woman. God created a man to always be ahead, and the women should follow. And most of the women, like you mentioned, in the grassroots are not even educated in both in the religious tenets and also in formal education. So whatever the man says stands, especially if he's a highly revered man, like the emir, the chief, the religious priest, and everybody. They listen. And so no matter how a woman is competent, if they come to the women in the house and say, oh, we don't want you to vote that woman. Our religion forbids it. We don't want you in our culture. No woman has ever become ahead of a man. Even in this house, I am the head. So what you do is you follow me to the polls. Whoever I vote for is who you will vote for. If not, I will divorce you. And some of these threats, what do you expect a woman to do?
So how do you begin to change the narrative?
So,
I think that as they begin to know, and as we have role models women who have shown that they can do it, that will begin to relax. And then also the women will tell the story in a different way as well. When you put them together and tell them, oh no, this doesn't happen. If the woman comes to them also and tries to socialize them, tell them, enlighten them on what should happen, we should be able to differentiate between politics as a role, a woman as a wife, a woman as a mother. In politics, you are going there to play a particular role for the betterment of society. Women have what they bring to the table. For instance, a house where the woman is literate of some sort, you will expect that the children will even fare better in their schoolwork. They will fare better in their livelihood because they will get, first they have a role model, then they get examples, then they get teachings as to how the world should move. And so the narrative will not continue to stay. People are being sensitized to know that that is not how it should be.
But some coming to the civil society contribution. Sorry, I'm not cutting you. It's very important because I belong to that constituency. And so a lot has to be done. And, you know, even for the level of awareness to where we are today, the civil society plays a huge role from the military regime to where we are today. I know a lot of women that have fought for this to happen. And that is why we are standing on the shoulder of giants, women who have risked their life, been in prison for speaking up for women to be involved in governance. So without the civil society, I don't know how the Nigerian political terrain would have been. So we need to also appreciate the sacrifices, the contributions of civil society organizations through awareness creation. There has been sensitization within the community, both at the grassroots, at the national level, engaging the policy makers to see that there has to be domestication of laws, treaties, and international conventions that speaks to the aspect of women empowerment across the world. And you see, even the mobilization in terms of, okay, mobilizing women to come together, to seek, to demand for their rights in terms of representation. If not for the civil society, I don't know who will have done it. And Nigerians wouldn't be conscientized to see the need for women to participate in governance. So I think all these things is a contribution hugely to what the civil society organization, especially women-led organizations, that have
also talking about civil society organizations in 2022 about leaders of about nine non-governmental organizations challenged the 35% affirmative action in the High Court. And there was a ruling that, you know, women who are competent, we are not just asking for, you know, engage women as per women. Women who have shown competence, women who are educated, women who know how to do these things, they should be on board. We have the policy that asks for 35% of all appointive and elective positions to be given to women, to be occupied by women, not given, occupied by women.
Because I was going to challenge that.
Occupied by women. Yeah. But we still stand at 5 point something. Yeah.
I think we should begin.
We are not moving at all.
I think we should begin with appointment, because when you say elective, you have to win an election. Nobody is going to say, okay, because you're a woman, go and it becomes appointive for you just because you're a woman. And so begin with appointments. And unfortunately, appointments, for instance, from the president's perspective, maybe, you want to reward those who contributed to your elections at the high level. Yes, you may say that the women are not in a position to contribute at that level, but why not let's take it step by step? Some will argue that you are not doing badly, that you are making progress.
Of course,
I'll give you, for instance, when Sarah Jibril contested, she was made an SSA.
Yes.
When Uju Kennedy Ohanenye contested, she became a minister. Tomorrow, even America just has a first female vice president. It is yet to have a first president. And so, how patient can we be? She's running. I'm not talking about now. Okay. As of today.
She's going to be president.
And you can run. Yeah, so how can we consolidate? How can we consolidate from where we are without rushing things?
We are not rushing anywhere. We are not rushing. We are taking what rightfully belongs to us. The aspect of saying we should start from appointive, no. Countries, let me cite a country like Rwanda that we use as a model for women representation. Rwanda women are more than the men in parliament. And what brought about this kind of increase is because there is a legal framework for women to participate. The same thing was introduced to the Ninth Assembly. There were 5 gender bills that were introduced, and one of them is the one of the affirmative action that we're talking about this morning. And what happened to it? Not one was able to pass the second reading. They were all thrown out. I can remember vividly the 1st of March 2021.
Why?
Because men felt if given that opportunity for women,
simply didn't
I
pass.
remember,
That's the why.
I remember what Honorable Budaje,
Explain.
one honorable, I don't want to mention his name, I quickly mentioned, but let me retrieve.
No,
He
right.
said, yeah, if Nigerian women, the way they are straw in the house, straw everywhere, by the time they give them that position, that they will take over the country. And you know what? The man is being sincere, honestly sincere, to voice out his fears, outwardly, to say, okay, this is what the men are afraid of. And I think I tend to align with his line of thinking. The Nigerian men are not comfortable. If you give us that, they feel if you give us that
How do you know we're not
111, 100, it's a show.
That's blanket. That's blanket.
Okay, it might be an assumption, but prove us wrong. Let the 5 gender bills be reintroduced in the 10th Assembly. Let it be passed into law. Let 101 seats be created for women. Let women like myself, Dr. Asmau, Ambassador Asmau, Dr. Rekia, occupy that position. And then let us have that enabling playing ground, that environment.
But some of the things that have been said against these gender bills is that, look, people say we have a bloated parliament, and then you introduce 109 more.
Can we negotiate?
Not more.
Can we
It's
negotiate?
more.
Yeah.
We are not looking for 109 more. We should be part of
The
number.
Okay, all
The-
right.
yeah.
We are not
Who
asking you to
sits,
create.
who
right,
will
okay,
say,
okay.
I give you my
Victor,
seat?
Victor,
See,
We
because
have
of
3
time.
senatorial zones
so
in
the
each of the
struggle
states, right?
continues.
So
The
let me
struggle
give you the
continues.
permutation. We have 3
In
senatorial
30
zones.
seconds,
So
because
can
we
we
are
say,
out of time.
okay, we have 3 senatorial zones in each of the states. Can we say in each of these
A
senatorial
policy that
zones,
gives one space.
one space, 2 can be male, 1.
Which
Each
of
the
them? That
states.
would be a crisis. Which of the 3 senatorial seats should be given to a woman?
But
any
it can
one
be
of them.
negotiated.
If
It
I'm
is
a
not
senator, I
that-
will say not mine. Give it to the other one.
Victor,
No, it can be
Thank
agreed.
you.
It's
Thank you,
okay, it's
Osman
okay,
Mrs.
no.
Leo, for coming on Good Morning Nigeria. It's always a pleasure to engage you, especially when we talk at these gender issues.
You know, the
And
Millennium
we've run out of
Development Goals, they were
We're-
instituted.
we're out of time.
We've run out of
we are.
time.
Okay.
Out of
So,
time.
Dr. Rekia Momo Abaji, retired civil servant, we thank you very much for your time and contribution. And I pray that all of you keep being strong at home, here and there. Someday you'll be strong in politics, and you
Now
will
we'll be strong.
you will
Not
get
someday.
there.
Oh, not someday, not
Yeah,
not
now.
a
So that's the
futuristic
program.
thing, not a
Thank you
futuristic
for
thing.
watching. My name is, I am Victor, so I'll see you again.
All right, I'm Ademola Adio. Thanks for joining us. See you again tomorrow. Bye.